Welcome to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast, your guide to future tech trends and innovation in a language you understand. Now, over to your host, Neil Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. We've all heard about fitness trackables and wearables. I mean, if you're in a meeting room this week and take a look around, everyone's going to have a watch or a fitness band of some description now. But I recently came across a new product that's taking things to an entirely new level. Imagine a small device that fits snugly in your ear and can instantly and uniquely measure accurately and in real time your core body temperature, your heart rate, and also obtain values for heart rate variability, VO2 and motion metrics too. Now, straight away upon hearing this, you might think, oh, that sounds great for elite athletes. But if you take a step back and think even bigger, think about health and safety, defence, firefighters, etc., who would be able to instantly retrieve so much crucial health information, all from placing a tiny device in somebody's ear. After hearing about their plans, I invited Leon Marsh from Bodytrak onto the show today to find out more about its potential to be an incredible game changer. So buckle up and hold on tight, because I'm going to beam your ears all the way to London town here in the UK so we can speak with Leon Marsh from Bodytrak. So a massive warm welcome to the show, Leon. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, good morning. Great to be here. Thank you very much for the opportunity. My name's Leon Marsh. I founded Bodytrak, which is a novel body monitoring hearable or ear-based device. Aims to significantly help improve people's health and well-being, and that's for both the consumer end of the market and also industrial end or enterprise. It's the first Internet of Things platform that can provide precision physiological monitoring in a non-invasive device, this being an earpiece, of course, and providing real-time data and cloud-based analytics, which obviously are the real value to the technology in providing someone the information about what all the data means and how they can use it. So that's essentially what Bodytrak is. My background is in product design. I spent about 10 years in industry before setting up Bodytrak, and we've been going now about 4.5 years. Built a team here in London and looking to launch the product, the technology, next summer.
Excellent. Now, the first time I heard about you guys was a report from CES in Vegas earlier this year. I've got to ask, I mean, what was that experience like? Was it tech heaven or equally, what could it be, tech hell, trying to get your voice heard? Because it's just a crazy event, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's a fantastic event. Amazing show. We didn't, of course, manage to see all of it. It's very well spread out, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
There's the usual everyday technology like TVs, to the sort of more high tech type plays such as Bodytrak. We actually, our launch was our PR launch at least was this year in CES in January. We had a fantastic event. Actually, we managed to win an award from Android Headlines, which was excellent. That was for best wearable technology, and we got loads of interest from industrial or commercial companies, shall I say, as well as individuals that just found the technology really interesting. We also had NBA player Shaquille O'Neal come over to the stand, we just generally had a great show. And the press off the back of CES, we had over 50 international publications, as well as the award. So it was brilliant for us, a great sort of starting point for our campaign.
So my understanding is Bodytrak is an activity tracker that measures vital signs through your ear, and I believe it can monitor your core body temperature, heart rate, speed and distance, etc. But for anyone listening that is new to Bodytrak, I mean, you did give a brief overview a few moments ago, but can you expand a little on exactly what Bodytrak can do, and also what makes it different compared to all the other sensors on the market? Because I think there are other earphones that can monitor just heart rate, but this can do so much more, can't it?
Yeah, that's right. And bearing in mind that Bodytrak is it's sort of hardware play, but it's also importantly on the software side, how we analyze that data, as I mentioned at the beginning, and provide the meaningful insights. In terms of the hardware play, so the headphone side, of course, there are other companies developing headphones with just heart rate only, and obviously audio, and they tell you sort of step count and various things like that. But they only really give that single vital sign of heart rate. Where Bodytrak's different is that, we're able to provide heart rate, of course, very, very accurately, but also crucially core body temperature. And that's something that's not really available in a non-invasive way in the market. And, if you combine core temperature and heart rate, it tells you an awful lot about the physiology of the body and how it's responding to various challenges. We also look at VO2 max, which is volume of oxygen that the body can consume, and that's a really good indicator for fitness levels, for example. And then we do also look at motion, so we look at speed, distance, cadence, and then going one step level on that, we also start to look at things like fall detection. So if you take this into maybe the enterprise market area where you're looking at health and safety monitoring, clearly if someone's fallen, you really need to know about that. And if you can string together the event of someone falling with their vital signs and how they're trending, and then you have the audio communications in there as well, the two-way comms, then it's a great package of functionality to look at that health and safety monitoring. So that's broadly the sort of technical side. Some of the things that we're trying to pick up include things like heat injury or heat exhaustion, which can be quite very challenging on the body, that can lead to fatalities, unfortunately. Example there being the Brecon Beacon deaths of SVS soldiers on summer of 2013, unfortunately. Other areas around physical performance, looking to reduce injury, detecting fatigue. Again, fatigue is a big issue in the industrial area where you're looking at health and safety, people operating machinery and the like. So it's really all about this advanced analytics to pick out all of these early warnings of issues, and then providing real alerts through an intelligent online platform so people can intervene.
Now, on behalf of any techies listening, I have to ask, how does it work? How can this small device track body temperature, heart rate, speed of distance, and all those different things? And are you able to tell me without revealing your secret sauce at all?
No, absolutely. The sort of starting point for Bodytrak was trying to bring the accuracy of the lab and all the devices that you'll see an athlete kind of, lots of cables coming from their body going to monitoring systems, and usually a skilled person looking at that data and trying to infer it, bringing idea of accurate monitoring into the field, which is much harder to place to measure. But what you need to do there is you need to have a completely practical and non-invasive method that doesn't require a skilled user. And that's exactly what our starting point was. In terms of how it actually works, we've used existing medical principles as the foundation for the sensors, similar to the ones that are used in the lab environment. And because we're using the ear as a body site that's next to the brain, we pick up really strong signals. They're signals that change very quickly as the brain is obviously the control center for the body, so anything that changes there we can pick up quickly. We tend to find that the Bodytrak is more reliable than perhaps some of the wearables that are at other areas of the body, particularly in the sort of wrist region where you're essentially measuring at the periphery of the body, and quite simply the signals are just less strong, and you tend to have more motion and other aspects of the signal you need to remove. So by the time your final smooth signal, shall we say, it's just not as strong, and that can lead to inaccuracies. And that's something that Bodytrak doesn't suffer from.
But like you said a few moments ago, it's not just about capturing that data. And like you said, Bodytrak also has this Sass platform to manage and analyse that data. Can you tell me a little bit more about that feature and the valuable data that you can gain from this platform?
Yeah, absolutely. The platform is a really key part of the solution.
Yeah.
It enables someone to run additional enhanced analytics, particularly on the machine learning side. And then, of course, there's the application where you can view the real-time data. And that could be anything from a sort of red, amber, green alert to more detailed, sort of second-by-second data for someone that wants that level of information. We're also using the platform, obviously, to detect some of the critical things we're measuring. So, again, sort of warnings around fatigue, around heat stress, around fall detection, and then, the more enhanced features around performance monitoring, and these other things. So it's really the sort of portal to what the technology is trying to infer. And of course, over time, that becomes really helpful because You can see how someone's trends are changing if it's a kind of performance aspect, or if it's health and safety, you can start to learn what a typical profile is for an individual and how they would respond typically to a certain situation. And then when you look at that in a historical sense versus what's happening right now in real time, then of course you have a much more reliable indicator of when a problem is starting to emerge.
So who is Bodytrak aimed at? I mean, are elite athletes your target market more than, let's say, my friend Sam from Leamington Spa who likes to go running? Because I get a feeling that this could be a really big hit with professional cycling teams, professional football teams, etc., who would get a lot out of this, wouldn't they?
Yes, absolutely. I think it's true to say that elite athletes are obviously going to really benefit from Bodytrak. Also, not just elite, but looking more at the sort of amateur level as well. People that are serious about their sport, particularly in the endurance setting. So you say cycling is certainly very relevant, and we've had quite a lot of interest there at high level. We really see Bodytrak giving professionals and enthusiasts alike actually a real competitive edge. And that's both in training and in competition where it's applicable. I think it's important to also talk about the other sectors we're following. So of course that's the sports side we've just mentioned, but there's the industrial health and safety side as well, and looking at protecting workers in the harsh environment and the remote environment, and reducing risk and insurance premiums as a result. We've actually, we've got significant traction there, and we've got over 40 trials that are lined up and in progress across a number of sectors within industrial health and safety, looking at firefighting monitoring in the sort of emergency response area, to defence and military, and also right through to the sort of industrial sectors of oil and gas, construction, mining, those kind of areas. And then, as well as taking the technology direct to market, we're also, of course, looking at collaboration opportunities for integration into other parties' existing systems.
So where did the inspiration actually come for Bodytrak? When did you first realise that actually you had something quite special on your hands here that would be perfect, not just for athletes, but also for those other industries?
I think that's a really good question. I really, for us, it came from the incident I mentioned a bit earlier in the call around the unfortunate deaths of SES soldiers in 2013. Yeah. We actually managed to win a funding contract award through the Ministry of Defence's Defence and Science Technology Laboratory, and that was to really design a solution that could help prevent heat injury in the field. And that was successfully delivered, and we had a follow-up contract to that. But really, that was based around trying to prevent these kind of incidents happening again. And that's really, I think, when we recognised the potential value in the sort of enterprise or the health and safety area, particularly as there's so little available for those sectors to use.
So as a startup that has had to learn and fail fast along the way and work those busy floors at CES in Vegas, what advice would you offer to anyone listening to us talk now that's at the very beginning of their startup story?
I think that's a great question again. I think the key to any sort of startup is perseverance. I think you're going to get knocked down. You've got to get back up again, brush yourself off, and carry on. Obviously failing fast is good, because it means that you're not going to spend effort where it's not going to reap any rewards. Clearly, the more preparation you can do for various things, the better. I mean, if you talked about CES, obviously we spent a lot of time preparing for that. We worked on everything from our branding to our product. We made sure the demo was working. We'd made sure we made good leads, PR leads before the event, lined up a whole series of publications. And, preparation is obviously a key part as well. Following up on the back of that, of course, making sure that you can get some sort of return on your investment, as it were, is really important.
Absolutely. So when can anybody listening expect to see Bodytrak hit the market? How close are you to getting that out there?
So we've been in the field this year doing trials with various customers since about the springtime. We've been getting some great feedback, and now making some tweaks to the technology as you expect. and we hope to be shipping around the middle of next year now.
Excellent. So what's your grand vision for the product? I love how you've already pivoted slightly. So you've got this product that's ideal for elite athletes, but then you've quickly noticed it's great for health and safety industry, fire and defence, etc. What would you see your grand vision for Bodytrak being? Do you think it can please all of those fields?
I think the way we're developing at the moment is largely down to the sort of regulatory timeframes. So we've talked about obviously sports, you say, health and safety. That there's a healthcare play potentially here as well that we're exploring at the moment. Obviously, it takes a bit longer to get into that market, but it's something that we've started on. Meanwhile, the industrial health and safety is a great collection of sectors. We're getting a lot of traction there, and the sport area, the endurance area in particular, again, there's a lot of potential there. So, really, we feel we can tackle all these areas. We'll certainly be looking at, and we are looking at partnerships to help us do that across different areas, of course. But ultimately, we want Bodytrak to be, really at the highest level of physiological monitoring. We believe we're really well poised to do that now. We don't believe there's many other solutions at all that can do what Bodytrak can do, and we'll be focusing efforts around sort of improving health and wellbeing moving forward, and that covers, as we mentioned before, really around the sports hazardous areas and medical attention.
So before I let you go, for anyone listening that would like to stay up to date with any progress at Bodytrak there, can you advise of your website and contact details just for anyone that has any further questions about everything that we've talked about today?
Absolutely, yeah. If you head over to our website at Bodytrak, bodytrak.co.co, you'll see at the top a waiting list. You can click on that. There's also a sign up to a newsletter feed. Obviously, you can subscribe to both of those. We're also on social media, so you can try and find us there, Twitter, certainly, and LinkedIn, and Instagram, and we always welcome feedback and questions, and we'll always do our best to respond to those. The other thing at the moment actually is we're live on crowdfunding campaign site Capital Cell. The life sciences, I think the first life sciences platform in Europe, actually. So if anyone's interested in getting more involved financially in Bodytrak and investing, then we'd welcome you to head over there to have a look at the campaign. We're currently about 85% funded in the round, but there is a chance for other people to get involved. So excuse the plug, but just thought it might be useful for some of the listeners if they're really interested. So, yeah.
I think you've got a fantastic product on your hands here. It's incredibly exciting just because of the wide scope that it's got. So I would like to stay in touch with you and get you back on the show next year when the product actually hits the market, and we'll have an update on how things are going there. But more than anything, just a big thank you for coming on and sharing your story today.
Thanks, Neil. Really appreciate it. And we'd love to get back in touch next year and give you an update then.
I genuinely think that Leon and his team here are onto something quite special. When I first heard about Bodytrak, I imagined the world's biggest sporting team snapping it up to capture those marginal gains that are the difference between winning and losing. And then there were the quantified self-techies and the worried well, of course, that want to track every aspect of their health. But what I love about the guys behind Bodytrak is they've also taken another step back and realised that it could also be a game changer in health and safety. It could help firefighters and soldiers, or even long distance lorry drivers, by providing real-time monitoring of heat injury, heat stress, levels of fatigue, and so many other aspects. Could quite literally be a lifesaver, especially when combined with their Sass platform. And it seems that we're now using technology to think beyond just counting steps. And this, my friends, is progress. So a big thank you to Leon for sharing this wonderful concept with us today. And this is a story that I'm going to be following very closely, and I hope you will too. So keep those tweets coming in at Neil C. Hughes and let me know your thoughts. And equally, if you don't want to share things in the public domain, remember you can email me at techblogwriter@outlook.com. But it's time for me to get my running shoes on now. So a big thank you to each and every one of you listening to the show today. And I hope you'll join me tomorrow for another great guest. But until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thanks for listening to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Until next time, remember, technology is best when it brings people together.